Good evening. Welcome to our channel where we set out to explore and read wonderful, great works of literature.
While dressed in casual clothing.
Somewhat casual clothing today.
Because why the hell not?
Because why the hell not? And we had a specific request today from the wonderful classics YouTuber Tristan and his wonderful channel Tristan and the Classics.
Mm-hmm.
We love watching his take on classic literature, and he's got some really insightful things to say about why we should be reading classical literature. And there's all sorts of he's actually quite funny.
Yeah.
He's got a great...
We've enjoyed his channel very much, and he's nominated us to do the superhero challenge.
Yeah,
Bookish superhero challenge.
Yeah, that's right, the Bookish superhero challenge. And so there's a set of questions.
Yeah. So why don't I start by asking you them, and then...
Oh, you're asking me first?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, I was going to ask you first.
Oh, pressure's on.
Pressure's on,
But
okay.
you're the one who looks the most like Clark Kent.
Oh, my goodness. Okay, all right.
Now I made you blush on camera.
Okay, all right. That was not... We did not script that. Okay.
Okay.
You want to read the first question?
So, number one, we are all unique. What is your very unique special powers?
Well, I'm trying to get the whole classic literature thing in here as well. And there's this one character, he was one of the Jason and the Argonauts in Ovid's Metamorphoses, which is like an ancient Roman, I guess, collection of Greek myths. And he was able, Lynceus was one of the Argonauts, and he was able to have the power to see through walls and trees and the ground. And actually a lot of people have made commentary about how that's kind of like a Superman's ability, like his X-ray vision.
Right.
And so he's able to see sort of the dark depths of the ground. And there's kind of that where I feel I like to do that. Whether I'm good at it or not is another thing, but I like to see...
Wait a minute, you like to see through grass and objects?
No, but I like to see through things behind their appearances,
okay.
right?
I was like a little bit worried there.
Yeah. So yeah, if you see me intently staring at a blade of grass, you know what I'm trying to do. What about yourself?
Well, I think I don't know if it's unique, but I guess
Because it's you,
in
it's
today's
unique.
world, maybe.
Because of you, it's unique. Yeah.
That I do have lots of love and compassion for my fellow humanity and humans out there. And I think I'm also really good at laughing at myself. And I just think that the world would be a lot more lighthearted if we were all able to just take a good look at ourselves and kind of laugh at it. At ourselves more often.
Yeah, not take it so seriously.
Okay.
Very good. So are you asking the second question, or do you want me to ask the second question?
Okay, you can ask. I don't know if I remember my answer.
Okay, so every superhero needs a nemesis. Name your bookish enemy. What is your kryptonite?
Okay, well, you know me, that even if it's like wonderful literature, a piece of literature, if there's any sort of affair in it, I have a really hard time getting through it.
This is true.
Yeah, it's really hard for me to emotionally detach from that.
Which kind of makes like 99.9% of classic literature very
really
difficult for you to read.
It's really a problem. Anna Karenina was like, it's like a wonderful work, and I was just like, I can't get past the fact that... Anyway, I would want to go into that. And I think the other thing is if I find the characters too predictable, too linear, I get bored with them. And find the ending too predictable. So even if there's good lessons along the way, I might enjoy it, but I won't take it as like, it won't be the best book for me to read. I think, like I won't be as excited about it in the end if the characters are all predictable. Yeah.
I mine was a similar sort of idea. I don't like it when it's very very mechanistic. Like they're following a certain plot line, and you can kind of like see what's happening down the corner. And I also don't like it when it becomes too, I don't want to say moralizing, but where it becomes the author's intentions of what they're trying to convey to you becomes so apparent that they're kind of telling you what to think rather than kind of leaving the ambiguity of real life.
I think that's actually why I don't like when it's linear. It's like if the character's too bad, like too unbelievably evil, and then the good character's too unbelievably good, I find it
it's like
boring.
A dispensing of reality in a way.
Like boring. Okay. If you could wish for any superpower, what would it be?
I feel like I would love to be able to control the forces of nature. like I've always I don't know if any of you out there feel this way, but like when it's a thunderstorm, I feel alive. I feel like the energy and sort of the vibrancy and the destructive power of nature. And to be able to harness that, or to even have your moods reflected, it'd probably be a very windy, stormy place, to be honest, if I was able to control it.
I just imagine you walking through a door and it being like
yeah,
whereas they like from in this like ancient mansion, and then Sean walks in with the wind blowing in the background and lightning bolts going off as you enter into a mansion.
Right. That's pretty much how I enter after work anyway. So yeah. So what about yourself?
Okay, well, mine's on the other end of the spectrum. Okay. I would literally like to be a fly on the wall. Like, not just.
Are you sure? Literally?
Like,
are you sure? Literally a wall?
I would like to be. No, I'm serious. I would like to be like a little shapeshifter, but I wouldn't be like. I wouldn't be this like big ginormous animal who like. I would be the little tiny thing that's just like creeping around in the background, and I would be. I think that would be such a cool superpower because you'd have all like the insights into people without mind reading. You could also get to have the experience of being like a little creature too.
Yeah. What about flying?
Yeah, well, yeah, that's why I'd like to be a fly, because you can fly.
But that's a very specific superpower to be just a fly. I guess you were like, what are you, Jeff Goldblum? Jeff Goldblum's ambitions here, just to be the fly. What kind of superpower would you have? Fly superpowers.
Okay, not just a fly, but like, yeah, it would be cool to also fly, like maybe a bird, literally a bird, or a little. But if you were a little insect, a little fly on the wall, you could listen to so many conversations.
Yeah. Yeah.
Maybe that's really creepy of me.
Yeah. Jeez. Oh, wow. You could also shift into the wall. You could also be a shapeshifter.
It's like an evil superpower.
But you could also just transform into the wall too if you wanted to be a shapeshifter.
That's true.
But it doesn't. The flying part's not there. I
don't know. I think it would be kind of cool to be like annoy my enemy by just flying around them.
Oh, speaking of
like
that,
I'm insect.
Speaking of that, there's a great Arthur Conan Doyle short story about that, where there are these two intellectual professors who are warring with one another, and one of them stole the other's ideas or something like that. This new discovery of this new insect, and when the other died from being heartbroken about having spent all this time researching something only to have it stolen in the end, he actually ends up tormenting him as a fly until the other guy goes nuts.
There you go.
It's
Didn't
an excellent.
even know about it.
I don't know what. It's
maybe
I
have less
premise.
of superhero. Maybe I'm not actually all that compassionate and loving.
No,
that's a pretty evil superhero.
That's pretty evil thing. Yeah. That also,
Oh, geez. I just saw a dark side of myself I didn't know existed.
That's also like Juno, the goddess Juno, kind of like getting a gadfly to torment this poor woman Io or something like that, all across the earth. To have her buzzing around her and biting her. So yeah, dark stuff. Anyway,
number 4.
Next question. I'm reading.
Okay.
So by day you are mild-mannered, I'm going to say Lois Lane. What do you do when you are not being a bookish superhero?
Oh, well, Rupert just answered that question.
Yeah, with his heavy sigh.
He said I was boring by, doing that gesture. Well, I'd like to take care of my fur babies and my plant babies. And I'd like to go for anything in nature, frolicking in the woods, or going hiking, or going skiing.
And I'm like the satyr just chasing you.
Okay. No. That's not true. But yeah, I like to be outdoors. Yeah. And I also like to do crafts. So I like to do resin.
You're very crafty.
Apparently.
In a good way. In a good way. In a very good way.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
And yourself, if you were Clark Kent.
Which apparently I am, right?
Yeah,
you've
well, other people have said that as well.
Yes.
What do you do when you are not being bookish, sir?
I really like, so it's kind of a very obvious answer from a bookish person. I like to read other types of books. So I really enjoy reading about mysticism and certain esoteric subjects. I also like sort of Neoplatonism and sort of anything that has to do with like ancient spiritual traditions. And I'm also a big fan of Carl Jung. So and many people would think, oh, well, these are very seemingly disparate concepts. But to me, what I find is there's actually, it's all kind of the same thing through the ways in which things are described and through my investigations and readings.
You also like music.
I also like music. I play some piano. Not
like the opera.
I love the opera.
When you're able to go.
Yeah. Like I like the arts and culture sort of aspect, but ever since COVID, it's kind of hard to do any of that stuff. So I think I've just been making do with my own fantasy, my own imagination.
Yeah.
But it's been mostly reading because there isn't really much else to do these days. Okay.
Okay.
Next question.
I'm gonna ask you.
You're asking.
Name your favorite bookish villain.
Okay. So we covered some Somerset Maugham on our channel because we absolutely adore Somerset Maugham. I think you were saying you really quite like him. One of his,
even the ones with the fairs in it.
Even those ones, yes. So there's one of his stories called The Magician, and if you haven't yet read this, I totally recommend it. It's very fun. It's very spooky. But the magician, he's kind of like a nefarious type character.
Yeah.
His name's Oliver Haddo, and I think he was based on Aleister Crowley, the actual kind of like 20th century magician. And I would say, yeah, that would be, having a dark master as your arch nemesis. I think it can't get any more dramatic than that. What about for yourself?
Well, I thought that it would be kind of cool to have like the villain be Rebecca, like because she's actually dead. So like how from Du Maurier's story, Rebecca. Yeah.
Not just any Rebecca.
Yeah, because like even after her death, she's still haunting you. Like clearly, it's something pretty villainous if after death you can still be haunting the people around you. Yeah. Yeah,
like completely like taking over someone's life almost. Right?
Yeah. Doesn't even have to be there to do it. All right.
Okay, so let me ask you then. Next question. It's probably the last question.
Yeah.
Defenders of the Earth Unite. Which bookish superhero would you collaborate with?
Yeah. Well, I'm like obsessed with Marion Halcombe from The Woman in White. Yeah. And I just think that Laura was kind of a pathetic character. And if I was there by her side, we would have done something even cooler.
Even cooler.
We would have just been like...
You would have had Count Fosco, just like that.
Oh, yeah. We would have had him doing dances around us.
Yeah. That's like...
You're really showing like an evil side today.
Yeah, I'm a little nervous. I'm a little nervous. Yeah. No, she was a great character. Like she was very loyal and very strong and very like...
Yeah. She was like all of her... What I found really inspiring about her is that she was a hero not for just the sake of being a hero, but because it was very selfless, her love for her stepsister, right? Yeah. Yeah. And yourself?
And for myself, I would say a hero I would collaborate with. I'd be like Sancho to Don Quixote. Yeah. Yeah, just going around, kind of like slaying windmill giants and, pretending like we're all chivalrous knights errant running around, sort of saving damsels in distress. I think that'd be kind of like a fun, maybe a diluted character to be with, but fun nonetheless. Yeah. Yeah, I think that'd be quite an adventure.
All right. And then the last thing is we just have to tag another booktuber.
Well, the thing is, we're an awfully small channel. We don't have that many we're not that well connected in the community, but you have someone in mind.
Well, why don't we do a fellow Canadian? Yeah. And her name is Emmy.
Yeah, she's got a great channel.
She's got a great channel, and so we'll tag her.
Yeah.
She may not know that we exist.
Yeah, well, we will do our best to get her attention.
It would be a bit awkward.
Yeah, we're like, hey, by the way.
We know you, but you may not know us.
Well, that's the nature of the online world. Right? Okay.
Anyway, this was really fun.
This was.
Thank you for inviting us
Tristan.
To do it, Tristan.
Thank you, sir.
And we'll hope that Emmy just happens to watch
our videos. Anyway, you have yourselves a good night. Take care. We'll speak next time.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.